Morning team. Um, so I want to keep this video as raw as possible. Basically, I woke up to see a message from Tina Coladas today asking me to do the gender tag. Um, I'd recommend watching her video on it because I thought it was very interesting. I think she does a couple actually. So I put a link to her channel in the description. Um, but yeah, I've been extremely interested in gender variation for a long time now, as well as sexual variation. And I see all these things on a scale as opposed to binaries. I've very much been of that view for a long time now. So yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to answer the questions of the tag. So instead of like doing this halfway through the day and looking at questions and thinking about it, I woke up like 10 minutes ago and I thought, let's just react to the questions and answer this honestly as I can. I'm not gonna. I could probably write really clever answers and talk deeply about stuff, but I think it would be better for me just to say how I feel on the questions at this moment of time. Cool. So question one: how do you self-identify your gender, and what does the definition mean to you? Okay, cool. So I suppose this is the broadest question. I classify myself as male. Um, what does it mean to me? Well, I think when I was a teenager, as is probably common for a lot of people, especially in older generations, not so much these days, I would hope, but it was always, although I was always myself, in the respect of, for example, all my mates are quite laddie, and I'd always be like, oh yeah, what'd you do this weekend? Oh yeah, I was watching football and smoking weed and all this sort of stuff, drinking beer and whatever. And I was always like, oh yeah, I just played through Mario and Zelda this weekend again for the 100th time. I had a really good time. So I was always honest and open, but I think it was important for me personally, based on my peers and what I was experiencing, as well as from my family and all from various sources, to my masculinity was more important to me as a teenager, and you know things if I did anything that was typically seen as girly, or you know acted in a certain way or said a certain thing, I would always feel uncomfortable with that and hate myself for that to an extent, and had to I tried to squash those parts of myself. um yeah, I mean, like I said, mainly due to peer pressure and stuff and closed-mindedness based on my peers and my family and various sources. You're a result of your upbringing and your environment. So that's just how it was for me. um yeah. So but now, sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with my thoughts. But now it's the complete opposite. For years, I don't care about masculinity or femininity or acting or behaving a certain way. It means absolutely nothing to me. Like, I don't care if something I like is perceived as typically feminine. I don't care if something I do is perceived as typically feminine. Um, I don't consider myself particularly feminine generally. I don't consider myself particularly masculine. Um, I think I'm just like an average guy. Um, yeah, so I suppose that answers that question. Hopefully, like I said, I'm happy to embrace. Oh, actually, no, I can talk a little bit more about this. I'm happy to embrace both sides of me. I think everyone, like I said, it's more of a scale. I think everyone has aspects of both genders within them, to varying extents. For example, though, I mean, this might be covered in one of the later questions, so sorry if I'm answering it too early. But like I said, I did want to read through them first. Um, I have a group of hippie mates who I love dearly, and we quite often dress up when we hang out. Like, wear, like, for example, mainly cross dressing for some reason. Um, it's always fun. I like the atmosphere. It's really fun. They're all like straight people. They um, present themselves as their binary genders and all that sort of stuff. But they will absolutely love cross dressing. But for me, I don't really feel comfortable. So I wore a dress with them a couple of times. I like it. I like it. I like, again, gender isn't. I think gender can be funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the argument between about drag race and stuff, isn't it? At the moment, that should people be allowed to make fun of gender? And I think it's fine to make fun of gender stereotypes and gender norms, um, because I think it helps break down these barriers and make people realise that there shouldn't be such things as gender norms. There shouldn't be such things as stereotypes for gay people or whoever. There shouldn't be stereotypes. No one's a stereotype. Everyone's different. Um, Yeah, so what am I saying? Yeah, but so I personally, I don't really feel comfortable in a dress. So, for example, the first time I did it, I wore it for quite a while, then I just put jogging bottoms on after a couple of hours. I think because I just didn't feel comfortable. It's not in terms of like comfortable with the way I was being perceived. It wasn't about that at all. It was just feeling comfortable in the outfit itself. I just didn't feel that comfortable. I think this one of, I think I just feel most comfortable in casual clothes. Like, yeah, in terms of yeah. So that's just that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think that's everything now. Roughly, I'll move on to question two. So, what pronouns honour you? Him, his, that sort of stuff. But again, I don't care. People can call me whatever they want. They can call me she. They can call me they. I'm not bothered. I'm really not bothered. Although if someone's like talking about me in a room, they're like, "Oh, she," I might not necessarily clock that they're talking about me straight away. But I don't care. They can call whatever they want. I'm not bothered. Describe the style of clothing you most often wear. Okay. This is a weird thing where it's like a sleeve goes halfway down my arm. But I quite like it. Um, yeah, t-shirts, jeans. I don't like formal clothes. Again, I don't know if this has anything to do with gender, but when I worked in an office in London, you're expected to wear a tie, and I don't like the feeling of something being tight around my neck. So I always wore a waistcoat instead. I very much like for formal clothes, like a vintage style, like waistcoats and you know pocket watches and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, pocket watches put over the top for work, but certain occasions can call for one, I believe. Um, yeah. So, but yeah, typically male clothes. I don't really feel comfortable in female clothes. That's been my experience so far. But again, I'm open to exploring that more. I've still never tried high heels. Again, I don't really see the appeal of it because they just look uncomfortable. But I'll be up for trying that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's one of the future questions, but for the not premiere, what's the thing? Finale reunion party for RuPaul I held at my house. Um, Me and my mate got dragged up, him by his girlfriend and me by Yaz. Uh, and again, it was fun. I enjoyed the experience, but I didn't really feel comfortable um, in like I didn't like wearing makeup. I didn't like the clothes didn't bother me too much. I don't think I was wearing a dress though. But again, I just don't. Again, it's not about being comfortable around the people I'm with because that was not an issue, or me being comfortable with myself. Because again, I don't consider that an issue. I've been through counselling to work on issues I used to have with myself, and I feel like I'm way past all that. So it's generally not that. I just didn't personally like the feeling of being covered with makeup. I don't ever wear makeup or anything. Um, but also, but the main thing I hate, like, I'll let Yaz do it again at some point. I might try myself. I watch, like I said in previous videos, I watch a lot of makeup tutorials. Um, I don't really know why I said don't wear makeup, but I just find them comforting for some reason, interesting, especially with extreme makeup tutorials like drag stuff. I find it really very very fascinating how they can change so drastically just by using makeup. So I feel like I'd be alright at it if I tried it out. So I do want to at some point. But the thing I hate, as you probably noticed from my videos, is shaving. I haven't shaved apart from that drag thing since about the age of 13. Always trim. I don't like shaving. Just don't like the feeling of that at all. Um, so yeah, that's my one hurdle with doing that sort of thing again. Really. Okay, so next question. Talk about your choices with body hair. Do you style your hair? Do you have facial hair? What do you choose to shave or not choose to shave? Okay, so I think it says talk about. Wait a sec. What has it start off? Talk about your choices with body hair. Do you style your hair? Does it mean style my hair on my head or style my body hair? Do people style their body hair? I suppose Brazilian and stuff like that. Um, so I'm an extremely hairy dude. Like I need to trim now, but yeah, I'm extremely hairy. So to make myself appear human, I have to regularly trim. Sometimes I can't be bothered, but if people are gonna, if there's a chance people are gonna see areas of me, I like to make sure they're trimmed and in good nick. Um, but yeah, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy maintaining my body hair. It's just something I have to do. It takes because I'm such a hairy dude. It takes me a lot of time, so it's quite a bit of an annoyance if I'm honest. And now that I shave my hair as well, I have to do it every week or two. If not, it starts to look ridiculous. Again, that's really annoying. Uh, yeah, I'm not. Again, I like body hair, but I don't like having to maintain it. If like I suppose the images are always greeted with on posters, even with people with body hair, it's very much a certain length most of the time, and in very certain areas and stuff like that. So I feel like it's due to societal pressure that I maintain myself in the way I do. If things change in the future, which I could well do, then I would have no problem taking less care over my body hair maintenance. Yeah, cool. So I feel like that's quite that question answered. This is a very personal video. I didn't necessarily think I'd make anything like this, but I'm happy to do so. Talk about cosmetics. Do you wear makeups? Do you paint your nails? What types of soaps and perfumes do you use, if any? Okay, so cosmetics, I feel like I've covered. I don't wear makeup. I don't really do anything like that. Again, nothing against it. If I used to have spots. I used to have acne actually, and to cover them up, sometimes I would wear concealer. I didn't think it ever looked good. It was always a bit of a nightmare, but I did that on a few occasions. But no, apart from that, and again, I haven't done that in a long time. So apart from that, no. Again, I just don't think I could be arsed with makeup. I got nothing against it. In fact, I quite enjoyed watching makeup tutorial videos, but it's just not. I could say that because even maintaining my body hair is enough of a hassle. I can't bother to do something else on top of that. Do you paint your nails? No. Again, I might have I don't think I ever painted my own nails. I think a friend might have painted my nails for me as a teenager. But again, it's just not something I particularly enjoy. I don't like. I think for myself, I'm very much a control freak when it comes to myself. Other people can do whatever they want. I don't care. You trust your friends. You trust whoever. They can do whatever they want. But I just don't like things being on me that don't have to be on me. I just like, yeah, just to feel like I'm in control of everything on me. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I think it's more about that than anything. Okay. What types of soaps and perfumes you use, if any? Basic stuff. Quite often I don't even use. I mean, when I had longer hair, I didn't even use shampoo. A lot of times, use shower gel. I'm pretty basic with that stuff. I like, but you know what I do like? I'm a sucker for nice smelling shower gels and bath stuff. Like I'll always in the supermarket, I'll always smell them and be like, okay, that's pretty good. And for example, before I left for Japan, they released this. I forgot who made it. This line of like candy flavored shower gels. Like I got Tutti Frutti and I think it was marshmallow, maybe. No, it was something else. I can't remember. But they're really good. I love stuff like that. Anything that's sweet smelling, I'm down for. Again, I don't necessarily gravitate towards that. What I normally do, shower wise, is I have like nice stuff I think smells nice. I normally shower before I go to bed as opposed to the mornings because I like to be clean in bed. Um, but I also normally have like something I really like the smell of. It's quite relaxing, and also like typically masculine smelling shower gel. And for example, if I'm going to something or seeing someone or potentially being naked around someone, then I'll definitely wear. I tend to wear the masculine, typically masculine scented one. Um, I don't know. Actually, I never really thought about why I do that. I suppose it makes me feel more masculine, which I said I didn't really care about. And I don't think I do. So I don't know why I wear that really. I don't know. I just like. I suppose yeah, it conveys a certain image, which is. I suppose it's like maybe a bit of a power thing. Again, not a power. Sorry, not a power over females or anything. So I should put it on silent. Um, but it just makes me feel more confident, like more myself, if that makes sense. Again, maybe it's something I need to think about. I don't know. I've never really thought about it before. I suppose it's just something I did as a teenager and just carry on doing as an adult. But I do like doing that as well. So I don't know. Okay, perfumes, typical aftershaves. I don't remember to make them, so I'm really bad at that sort of stuff. What I didn't realise that I found out not too long ago is that aftershaves go off in perfumes, so I'm sure I need to replace mine. I like basically I've smelt smells in other people. Be like, oh, I really like that smell. What do you wear? And then bought what they wear. If I'm honest with you, um, yeah. So again, pretty typical in that front. Again, I tend to lean towards masculine smelling scents, but also sweet smelling scents. Again, it's hard to say really. I don't really know much about aftershaves or perfumes. I just know what I like and what appeals to me, and that's what I wear. So yeah. Have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? I have not. Again, like I said, I think as a teenager it would have really bothered me if I had been. I think I've always been extremely hairy, so I don't think people have really made that mistake. But now I wouldn't be bothered at all. People can misgender me all they want. Um, yeah. So no, I haven't. But I understand that gender is important to a lot of people. I understand how it can be offensive to misgender people. If I was ever unsure about someone, I would ask them what pronouns they preferred me to use. I know how that can also be offensive, but I feel like if someone gets offended by me asking that, it's because it's the same thing as if someone's offended if someone asks if they're gay. It's like you're only offended if I'm asking if you're gay because you see being gay as a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? So I see that that's more of their issue. So if I ask someone what pronouns they prefer and they take offence to that, I would see that as their issue as opposed to me doing something wrong. So yeah, again, I'm sure I have more to be educated on this topic, but that's where I stand at the moment on that. Okay, next. Sorry, this is going for quite a while. Do you experience dysphoria? How does that affect you? As far as I understand, just gender dysphoria. No, I don't. Um, Talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Would you want to carry a child if that was an option for you? Do you want to be the primary caretaker for how many children for any children you may have? Okay, so little bit of history for you here. When we were, I think as a very young kid, I very much wanted like the idea of being a parent. So I remember when we were in reception, the youngest year in school in the UK. So I don't know what it's called elsewhere in the world. We were asked what we wanted to be when we were older. We went around one by one and answered. And I remember very clearly that I said I wanted to be a daddy. Um, and yeah, that has always stuck with me, if I'm honest. I feel like I want to get my career is my most important thing to me. It's really important for me to get to where I want to be. It's always been my biggest dream since since I realised I could be a game designer. My biggest dream has always been to get to the top of my field and just produce the sort of games I want to produce. So I want to do that first, but after that, after I've accomplished that and that's in motion, and I have a team big enough to support me, I'd very much like to have children for sure. But I feel like that's quite a few years in the future at this point. And if I did have children, yeah, I'd be happy to be the primary caregiver. Like I said, I'd hopefully be in a position where I can work and look after my children at the same time. So I won't be in a job that has set hours. That's not something that appeals to me. If something I have to do, it's something I have to do, no problem. But I'd much prefer to be my own boss and work at my own pace. And like I said, have a team. I would make sure I have people to take over any slack I may leave, so that I can care for my children in the way I would want to care for them. Yeah. So hopefully that answers that question. Oh, also those I suppose. Although I suppose I'm happy for whoever I'm with at the time to also um, be as involved as they'd like to be. If it's something if we both felt we'd like to be involved at the same level, we either could be or take it in turns. All that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm very much like the idea of being a parent in the future when it's right. Talk about money. Is it important for you to provide for your family financially if you choose to have one? Is it important that you earn more than your partner, than any partner you may have? Do you prefer paying things like dates? Are you uncomfortable when others pay or offer to pay for you? Right, okay, so quite a few questions here in this one question. Let's break it down. Is it important for you to provide for your family financially? It's not necessarily. I think it's important that your family is provided. Your family has money to live off of. That you have kids if you can when the time's right and you can afford to do so. I don't necessarily think I have to be the one to provide that money. Whoever I'm with can happily do that as well. I would like to feel like I'd feel uncomfortable if I felt like I wasn't paying, if I wasn't contributing towards it in the best way I could financially. And I would never want to, put a burden on anyone I'm with or my family in any way. That would make me extremely uncomfortable. Um, is it important to you that you earn more than any partner you have? Not at all. Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Nope. I always like to pay 50-50, but not 50-50 in terms of you split the bill 50% exactly. I mean, you pay for one thing, your partner pays for the next thing maybe, and so it's roughly even. I feel that's the way I feel most comfortable. I am comfortable when others others pay for you or offer to pay for you. When they offer to pay for me, absolutely not. I don't really think I can't remember any situation where someone's paid for me, because I'd always insist that I pay my share, even if they're significantly more financially more stable position than myself. If I ever had a friend who was rich and, for example, we went for a meal and the meal was absolutely no money to them and it was a decent amount of money for me, and they offered to pay, I would hopefully feel comfortable enough with that friend to let them do so. And I think I would feel I think I would feel comfortable enough in that sort of situation. But like I said, none of my friends are rich, unfortunately, so that's fine. Also, I suppose this doesn't necessarily relate to gender 100%, but I very much prefer casual restaurants and posh restaurants. I don't like posh food particularly. So, it's never a massive issue anyway. Anything else you want to share about your experience with gender? I feel like I covered most of my general thoughts in the first question, the first point. So not particularly, although I would just like to reiterate that I'm very much open to, in terms of, as well as sexuality and every other aspect of my life, that things will change probably as I grow up. and my experience, the way I experience and express myself, is sure to change, and my thoughts and views on different things. I'm sure, there's so much to gender and various aspects of ourselves. A lot of it, like I said, I've been fascinated and studied up on a lot of it for a long time now. But at the same time, there's way more to discover and way more to explore. So yeah, I'm excited for my. Oh, you know what? Actually, I was going to say I'm excited for my gender journey to continue. But you know what? Actually, on that note, one final point is same with other aspects of myself. For example, my sexuality, my various other things about myself that are just part of me, something I've not consciously decided, or I don't see them as important, to be honest. I don't define myself by my gender. I don't consciously think about my gender until doing this tag. I don't see it as an important aspect of my life at all, for me personally. And I don't really feel, again, controversially, I don't feel many people should see it as an important factor in their life. I feel like society makes it more of an important factor than it should be. And like I said, I felt that as a teenager. And luckily, I don't feel that way at all anymore. And, like I know a lot of people on YouTube, and unfortunately, I don't know anyone in person who say they're two-spirited, for example, and that's very difficult for society to understand and accept. And I think that's really bad. Yeah, so it's not an issue for me. I don't define myself. I wouldn't say, "Oh, hi, I'm Grant. Nice to meet you. I'm a man. I'm this, this, and this." I don't say that. I define myself by what I've done, by my likes, my interests, things that I've consciously chosen to do, and I'm proud of, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to have done this gender tag, but at the same time, it's interesting, and I like watching other people's gender tags. But I sort of feel like in the future, hopefully 100 years in the future, people shouldn't have to do gender tags because things shouldn't be assumed about people. I feel like people are interested in watching this video because they assume certain things about me, but that shouldn't have to be the case. Same with everything. Like, I think sexual orientation as well, people should be able to hit on whoever they want, and people not get offended, and people just don't assume anything about anyone at any point. Don't ever judge a book by its cover, I feel like hopefully in the future society will go more that direction. Anyway, sorry if this video was completely rambly. It's gone on for 20 minutes, which I didn't think would happen. Hopefully it's interesting. Sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. I need to take an allergy medication. Pretty sexy, right? So yeah, hopefully it was insightful. Let me know if you have done a gender tag video yourself. I'd be interested in seeing it for sure. Let me know your thoughts on gender. If you disagree with anything I've said, fine. I'm always happy to learn more. I'm an open book. Hopefully I haven't offended anyone. Yeah, and if you like this video, I'm happy to do more videos like this in the future. Yeah, cool. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.